Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the S.H.Figuarts Bandai Tamashii Nation's Captain Marvel movie Captain Marvel figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini maybe I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about you.
And a real quick look at the box. On the left flap, you can see a picture of Brie Larson. And on the opposite side, it says S.H.Figuarts Captain Marvel. Let's get her out, see what's what. Alright, so I've got the MCU's Captain Marvel, aka Ms. Marvel, out of the package. And this is going to be a quickie, not too many accessories with her, and I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm not a fan of the sculpt for this figure. I do think that the paint applications on the costume and the costume in general looks pretty good, but it's an odd looking sculpt. You know, Brie Larson is not the most voluptuous or, you know, she doesn't have the perfect hourglass figure, but I don't think they even did her actual body type any justice with this particular sculpt. So let's take a close look at the costume and we'll go over the accessories and we'll knock this out quickly. I'll get you guys out of here. So if you haven't checked out the Captain Marvel movie yet, I think it's worth a watch in the theater. I did review the movie, a non-spoiler review on the channel, so check that out if you haven't already. You know, it was decent, probably one of the weaker movies out of all of the MCU movies, but it was okay. And although I was not really initially a fan of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, she did all right. So taking a look at this costume here, like I said, it does look good. I think the paint applications and everything here look great. It's just the sculpt here that looks nasty to me, man. It just doesn't look that great. I do not like the way this pelvis area looks, and I don't like the way her hips look. They look really odd and misshapen, and they look like they're sticking out to the side too much. She's got the childbearing hips here, and I'm not really a fan of how the midsection looks. Something just looks odd about her shape, and not to mention that baby has no back, so that looks really bad. And to be perfectly honest, you know, those pictures that we first saw of Brie in her costume, they had showed her derriere, and it didn't look that great. Sorry to be such a pig, but it is what it is. This just doesn't look appealing to me at all. And taking a close look at this face sculpt, there is some likeness there. It's not great. We all knew that it wasn't going to be that great before the figure actually dropped. And having it in hand, though, it is better. It's okay. Let's look at her accessories. 2 fists out of the package. 2 open hands with the fingers fully spread. A more relaxed set where the hands are open but the fingers are close together. And there's a look at the neck peg and a look at the wrist pegs, all very thin, so you should be careful as you're swapping out. And the entire head and neck comes off, so that way you can swap on the additional head, which is her fully masked head with the mohawk coming out the top, and that looks great. I do think this brings the whole outfit together nicely here. It looks good, but again, I'm just not a fan of the sculpt. And her final accessory is a pair of little energy effects that can slip right over her fists, so they look, they're kind of translucent with a sort of yellowish hue to them, and it's no problem slipping them over her fist. And that's pretty much it. It would have been nice to get some more effects with her at least, but it's a small box, small amount of accessories. There's that. So posing her up, she looks pretty good. Let's go over her articulation. Now, while the head and neck does pop out like it's one part, they are 2 separate parts. So the head can move independently of the neck, and then the neck can move, so you get a good range going down, but you need to be careful because it keeps popping out of the socket. But you can get her to look down pretty far. Unfortunately, I can't really get her to look up as far as I would like, and especially for a flyer, that is kind of annoying. Hold on. There you go. It's not too bad, and being that the hair doesn't really hinder the head too much with this particular head sculpt on, it's decent. Much better than the other head sculpt. You're not going to get this range on the unmasked head, that's for sure. But the head will turn left to right, it'll pivot, do a full 360, no issues as far as that goes. Shoulders are going to come up pretty far. you actually get a really nice range on the shoulders. You could do a full 360. There's a nice butterfly joint in there. There's a simulated upper bicep swivel or upper shoulder swivel because it's on a ball peg there, so it'll rotate pretty well. And you do get a double jointed elbow swivel and a hinge on the wrist. Upper torso articulation, so she can rotate, move back and forth there. You get a bit more articulation in the lower abdomen, and you can turn her left to right there at the waist. T-joint at the pelvis, the leg will come up just about that far. You can get her to do a pretty decent split. There is a upper thigh swivel or upper pelvic area swivel, double jointed knee. You do get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. You get a nice deep ankle pivot, and you also get a toe joint. So the articulation is there. Alright, a few quick size comparisons. There she is next to her Marvel Legends counterpart. This is the only version of Captain Marvel I have from the Marvel Legends line. I didn't complete the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure yet, but as most of you know, the SHF line is like 5-inch or true 6-inch scale, so they're a bit smaller than Marvel Legends. Neither line has nailed the likeness here to Brie Larson either. There she is next to the Infinity War Thor, Mezco Deadpool, Redpool, Star Wars Black Series Jaina Solo, 1/12 scale female tan Fison body, Revoltech Gambit, and Figma Samus. So the truth is, I do want to do a lot of displaying with this figure and maybe some kit bashing, but it's still not one that I would highly recommend, especially if you have to get her on the secondary or pay any domestic prices. I was lucky enough to get her for cheap from Japan. It was probably like 50 bucks or something like that. But with the rate that SHF is putting out figures from Infinity War and the stuff they're going to be putting out from Endgame, I think they will probably take another crack at Captain Marvel. So I would wait it out, be patient, and see what happens. But like I said, the paint applications and everything here does look good. She does look nice in a flying pose. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.